Scouts are busy there at the Combine in Indianapolis this weekend, rating the top college football players in preparation for the NFL draft at the end of April. So we're going to try to get caught up here on the proceedings. I watched a little bit myself, but we're going to go to somebody who's much more knowledgeable about what's going on right now. Teddy the Bear Tate, you can catch him on Straight Football Talk on the Totally Driven Entertainment Network there. Teddy, I got to give myself a nickname like you. That's a great nickname.
Thank you very much, Mark. Yeah, I got that from my dad back when I was a kid. Just kind of rolled with that. And I mean, I think it's pretty clever myself, if I have to say so.
That's great stuff. So everybody watching for Saquon Barkley and his performance, here's a guy that really doesn't have a whole lot to gain, a lot to lose if he doesn't show up and perform the way he's expected, because he's going to be a top 5 to 6 pick. I've seen him at 1. I've seen him at 2, a slide to 6 in that slot as well. Number 4 with the Browns. Anywhere in there are a number of options, but sure, he just showed up and showed us what a freakish athlete he is.
Yeah, and fortunately for the Browns, I guess, if you want to say fortunately, they have the number 1 overall pick again, and got a freak in nature last year with Myles Garrett. Barkley is 6 foot, 230 pounds, did a 41-inch vertical. That alone right there to me stands out. Not to mention, I believe he ran a 4.41 40-yard dash today, very fast, and then put up 29 bench reps. I mean, that right there, he's a good overall back, but 29 bench reps, it's a very impressive feat.
And for a kid that's thick, so he gets compared when we look at his 40 time. They were drawing comparisons to a number of backs in recent years who are much smaller, 30, 40 pounds lighter, that are in that same range. So this guy's just all world.
Yeah, and some of the guys you're talking about is like Amir Abdullah, Christine Michael. He's right there at those guys' level with the 41-inch vertical and the 40-yard dash. He's right there as far as performance. And I like you said, as with his size, he's a freak of nature.
So to you, it sounds like we had a conversation before we started to record that regardless of the value of certain positions, and the running back position is starting to come back, but basically devalued over the last 10 to 15 years. Sure. You just think that this guy's going to be a superstar, and he just needs to go number 1 off the board. Absolutely.
The Cleveland Browns, they need to turn things around, and to get an offense going, first and foremost, you need to run a game. This is a passing league. We've heard that over and over again. But to get a passing game going, you need a run game. What better way to get a run game going than the playmaker of Saquon Barkley? I mean, to me, he looks like he's going to be a total stud. The Browns cannot mess this up. They have to go Saquon Barkley with number 1.
So the Browns in recent years have done a nice job of setting themselves up for the draft. It's just making the execution of the picks that's the difficult thing.
Yes, sir.
They're brilliant at getting the picks, hoarding the picks, and getting themselves in position, but you got to close the deal, and they've not been able to do that with a number of picks like the corner out of Oklahoma State, Justin Gilbert, who didn't turn out, Johnny Manziel, of course, being prime examples, but we could sit here for the next half hour talking about the bus. I would think that the Browns' last great selection was Joe Thomas, and that was a no-brainer, so nobody would have messed that up. He was by far the best left tackle, and everybody would have drafted him in that spot. Sure. But as we continue to look at the running back position, what's your thoughts about how this plays in today's NFL? Because as I mentioned, it was devalued. So for years and years and years, it was a running league. You had the Walter Paytons and Tony Dorsetts and Franco Harris type players, and they were the number 1 back, and you hardly saw the second guy. And now it just became such a physical league, and guys got worn down that you needed 2 backs. Therefore, 1 wasn't as valuable. Plus, it became a passing league. So instead of running 60, 70% of the time, you're now passing 60, 65% of the time across the league. And it was just thought for a long time, hey, yeah, as long as you get a decent back, he's going to look really good behind a really good offensive line. And the running game's de-emphasized. But now, just in the last few years, I think Zeke Elliott's done a lot for the running back position, and to a lesser extent, Todd Gurley, Melvin Gordon. And now we see first-round selections going to the running backs again. And last year, Leonard Fournette, and a much different back in Christian McCaffrey. And through one season, both of them came through.
Yeah, absolutely. I would really emphasize Ezekiel Elliott's rookie season and also last year Leonard Fournette's rookie season. Both of those guys proved how valuable they can running back can be for an offense. Not to mention, it doesn't even have to be a first rounder. One Kareem Hunt, Alvin Kamara, those guys have been very valuable to their offenses, and it just shows that the running game is kind of changing the offense again, because you look at guys like Alvin Kamara or even like a Le'Veon Bell, who is so valuable in the passing game, and just brings a whole another dynamic to the offense.
We've got Teddy the Bear Tate on the line from Straight Football Talk and the Totally Driven Entertainment Network. So let some folks know, Teddy, where they can catch you.
They can catch us on Blog Talk Radio. They can also catch us on Facebook. We have a Straight Football Talk Facebook page, Twitter, obviously LinkedIn, Spreaker, iTunes. We're all over.
I guess so.
You can just Google us and you'll find us.
So continuing the running back talk, sure. It's been my thought, and also listening to the guys that know like yourself, that Sony Michel was the prototypical pro back, the guy that was going to project to the next level. But you also like Nick Chubb.
Yes, sir. A lot of people were talking about Sony Michel, and no disrespect to him, I just like Nick Chubb's game style. He's a bruiser. He's got the strength. He's even got some speed. He ran about a 4.5 today, putting up another, just like Saquon Barkley, 29 bench reps, strong guy. I could see a lot of teams wanting to get his, services, if you will. There's quite a few teams that still need a good running back. You look at the Seattle Seahawks; they desperately needed a run game. Tried to get it with Eddie Lacy, that didn't work. They tried a couple other options, that didn't work. Indianapolis Colts just got rid of Frank Gore. They do have Marlon Mack, but again, a bruising back like Nick Chubb complements a passing back like Marlon Mack.